Welcome back to Hopline to a super quick review of the Duotone Whizz and the Duotone Quick Release System.
Da kann man sich veröffentlichen.
So I'm sitting here in a pile of foiling gear. This is going to be looking really crazy. So I'm sitting here in a pile of foiling gear for a reason. I just came back from the wake foil Testival in Mannheim yesterday, and we did have the Duotone Whizz in 3 different sizes for testing. I took it out winging before, and I tried it yesterday on the cable, and I couldn't send it back and let go before making at least a small review. So here are my thoughts. I've got the 3 different sizes. I've got the 1200, the 1000, and the 850. So let's take a quick look first before I talk about my experience and the experience the riders had yesterday. This is the biggest one. This is the 1200. So we also had 3 stabilizers, the 210, the 165 and the 185, and we did like lots of combinations and tried all the different settings with like the regular fuselage. This is the 660 Duotone AERO AL3BS66 fuselage. That's the one we used. I think the 850 is gonna fit the frame the best, so I'm gonna take this one first. Let's start from the outside. Covers are really nice. They got a Velcro here. This is gonna be loud. Yeah. And there's a little bit of a neoprene insert here, like a rubbery thing, that allows for the fuselage to be attached and then put that on. That works really, really well. Same for the stabilizer Velcro again, and you can attach it to the front wing, which is really nice it was really nice for me yesterday on the Testival. But you can put it on the stabilizer itself if it's still attached to the fuselage. So that's really nice look. Take a look. It's a nice, like the branding is nice, and I like the colors. Good quality. I'm really impressed by the covers. Build quality from the stubbies and the front wing is really nice. They've got like a clear carbon look, and then some branding, and I'm just gonna show you the branding and the graphics on the 850. Because I think they did a really good job. This one's made for, behind the boat, small waves, wakes, whatever you want. And I think it kind of reflects in the graphics. It's built a little bit more on the heavy side, but very durable. Like putting it all together, I thought, wow, this is really strong. I tried to be on the light side with my gear, but I can definitely see that there's some advantages having like a really strong build if you're into freestyle and just saltwater abuse and use. So let's talk about the front wing real quick and how it behaves in the water. And I think the most uncommon thing is that it's got dihedral, so it's actually going up, and that's the way the fuselage sits on the front wing. So this is the way it sits in the water, and it's got like what I would call a banana shape, and that's to put it short, that's the way it rides in a positive and a negative way. So let's get into what this front wing rides like, and this is from my experience. I took it out winging, I took it out on the cable, different sizes, different stabilizers, and also from the experience the people had yesterday on the cable. And because of the dihedral, because of this what I call banana shape, it rides different in a positive and a negative way. And the first thing you're experiencing is like a little a roll and a shakiness, and it's really sensitive to turbulences in the water. So if someone on the cable was riding in front of me, maybe a bigger guy with a massive front wing, I could definitely feel every move he made, and I could feel it more than on a dihedral front wing for sure. And it sounds negative, but it's actually the positive side of this wing. So I think the Whizz does not want to go straight in a straight line, long cruising. That's when you maybe go for the glide or even the carve. I think this one wants to be pushed from side to side. So you want to be in the wave, you want to be in the wake, going from one turn to the other one, and then you're coming up with this side, and this is where this actually accelerates. First day I went out winging, it was like light wind winging, and I just got up on the foil. I had the 1000. It was easy to get up. Maybe I was, I think 10 knots or even less than 10 knots, and I had a 4.3 ozone flux, I think, and I could pump it up, so it had a lot of lift. And I just caught like a small tanker wave, and I was like, no, maybe I can push a few meters against the wind. So that's gonna buy me some time, because I'm drifting back with the current on the river. And it just took off immediately. Like the 1000 was just gliding and gliding and gliding. And I was like, wow, this is good. So I took down the wing and I went for 500 meters on a wave, probably this high. I'm 65 kilograms. So that was amazing. And that's when I felt like the first time I got up, I got like this rolling shaking, and that's what I experienced later on. But then I could feel like, wow, this is where it comes alive. And I crossed behind a boat where you got a lot of turbulences and it kind of shakes. But once you put it on one side, it's all good. It's like if you're going on a small turn, it feels really solid and it just cuts through. So I don't think this is made for cruising. This is made for playful riding. And the wing accelerates when it comes down to breaching. Like I've breached this on purpose so many times, and I've never had a wing that was so easy to recover. Like you see the tips coming out and you can see there's almost no air getting sucked, and you go back into the water and you're regaining lift so quick. So I really enjoyed and had a lot of fun breaching the wing and even getting totally out of the water on the water surface and riding it on the water surface, and then it just drops down and you recover before the board hits the water. You're up and riding again, and that's something I've never seen before, and that's something I really enjoyed. So it was more or less the same on all three sizes. The 1200 was too big for me, like that would be a low, like a really low wind wing or tiny waves. But even with the 1000, I was more than fine in tiny waves, so that would be my size. The 850 accelerated on the cable, and we did run the cable on 30 kilometers at the end. And Nikolai went out and he came back and he said, wow, this is crazy. Like he could ride it at more than 30 kilometers, which is quick for a wing. It's got a little bit of width to it to give you some lift, and it does, but it still goes really fast. So it's a really playful front wing, and it allows you to just push the potential in so many ways, like carving, but not only carving, but more like a freestyle new school carving. So maybe carving, breaching, sliding, getting on the front wing and then sliding around, doing like slide 180s. There's so much stuff you can do, and what we're just getting started, because it's a little shorter and it's got like a little bit more width here. You can push it on one side and then just slide it like this and slide back, or do like a full 180 instead of a jibe and then get back into the recovery. I would call it a new school front wing, and it kind of reminds me of the banana shape snowboards we had a few years ago. I remember, like, that's 20 years ago, but the first time we had a snowboard that didn't have like a pre-flex that went like the other way, everyone was like, oh, it's not gonna work, but it was, and it was like a buttery smooth ride, not for everyone, not for racing, but a lot of people enjoyed it, and now we're seeing like a mix, and it's more or less common, and I think that's the same what's happening here. As long as you know what you're getting into, and if that's your kind of style of riding, playful, still having a lot of speed, a lot of glide on the wave, nice turning and breaching capabilities, jumping, recovering, fast recovering. That's what this wing does. So I think if you want to go long distance runs, maybe get the glide or the carve. If you're into carving, get the carve. If you're into more of a playful, a little bit freestyle and just experimenting kind of thing, maybe some prone surfing and wake foiling as well, maybe behind the cable, this is a really nice wing. So everyone enjoyed the wing. Some came back from the cable the first ride they did, they was like, oh, it's shaky. But then I explained, I said like put it in a turn and then keep it on one side. And it's a little bit like on a snowboard. If you're going flat, like no one wants to go flat because then you're like getting pushed from one edge to the other one, and you want to be on the rail, on one rail, and then you go from one rail to the other one and do like a carvy transition. And that's how I think you should ride this one as well. You kind of put it on one side and then it's totally stable and fine, and then you put it on the other side and you're so quick getting used to that. It's it's new, it's different, but I really enjoyed it, and this is why I couldn't let it go without making at least a small review. So stabilizers are really nice, different sizes. I think they more or less ride the same, just adding more stability. Same with the length of the fuselage, so that's pretty common. Didn't have much time to play with any shims or something, but I was totally fine just with the stock settings. So let's move on to the Duotone Mast with the new quick release system. So the first thing I noticed unboxing the Duotone Carbon SLS Mast was the kind of foamy rubbery material here on the mast adapter. That's really nice. It's protecting your board and it makes totally sense, and I think every manufacturer should have this. And second, of course, is the quick release system. You might have seen it, and it's so easy. With just a few screws, you unscrew this and then this gets out here, and you've got like this plate. This can stay on your board forever, and you just put it in here, and then do like a few turns. You can tighten it using the TX45. You can give it like another twist if you want to. So that's a pretty sweet system. I only used it on my winging sessions and during the Testival yesterday, and we tried different boards, so we took it on and off a few times, and that was really nice. I don't know how it's gonna work in a long run, if this will work or not. It looks pretty solid and it's not heavy, which is good. And it's easy. You just unscrew this. Like I said, you could use the tool, but you don't have to. And this just sits here, and then you just push it out. And like I said, this stays on the board. This is really flat. This is like maybe, not sure, like a centimeter or something. So that's nice when you put the board in the board bag. It's more or less flat, and even on a flight trip, you could just leave it on the board. And you're ready to go in no time. It's I really appreciate quick release systems. I've got the Testival one, and as a family guy, so many times I'm on the beach and I've got my family and I have to do a quick one. Like, I can't say I'm just waiting for the wind or something. I have to be set up in a few minutes, and every second and every minute that's not taking time for setting up things buys me time on the water. So I really appreciate quick release systems. Storing is a lot easier, and if you can fit the foil attached with the fuselage front wing stubby into your car, it's so quick. For me, like doing a quick run in the afternoon, it's just chucking the foil in the bag, and sometimes I put, depends on the board in the car as well, or on top of the car. And then just on the beach right now here at my home spot, I just slide it in or set it in, and then it's one screw and I'm ready to go. So that's really, really nice. If that's what you're looking after, if you want to have more convenience and you need like a faster system in your daily routine or while you're traveling, this would be a really nice investment. Can't say much about the long run. I've only been using it on a few winging sessions, and yesterday on the cable we did slide it in a fair amount of time, and that worked really sweet. So hopefully the system's gonna be a good one on the long run. Can't say much about it, but I really appreciate that Duotone went through the effort of developing this really nice looking system. So that's it from the Duotone Carbon SLS Mast and the new quick release system. I think it makes a lot of things a lot easier. I really enjoyed riding the Whizz in the different sizes, and I think if you know what it does for you and if you appreciate what it does, the kind of banana shape, is a really playful and fun front wing and a really nice addition to a quiver for wave and some kind of freestyle oriented riding. If you have questions, like always, use the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot of content like always coming up. So hopefully gonna see you back on this channel very soon. Take care.